Namaskar. Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the theory of stakeholders in the business and a very important concept of strategic management known as a gestology. So before going into today's class, let's quickly recap whatever we have studied in yesterday's class. In yesterday's class and day before that, we had discussed about the concept of strategic management, the various stages through which the process of strategic management is carried out, starting from your assessment of your true position, development of your mission, vision and strategic goals. Then in order to implement the strategies made in the top level, then evaluation and control. So these are the various steps in strategic management process. So in our last class we had discussed up to the concept of evaluation and control. Just a quick recap, like how to evaluate, defining the parameters to be measured, defining the targets for those parameters, perform measurements, compare the measured results to the predefined standard and make necessary changes. So in today's class we are going to discuss about an interesting topic in business known as your stakeholders. People often mistake it with shareholder. Obviously shareholder is a part of the core business group, but stakeholder is something different, a bit different. What do you mean by stakeholder? Stakeholder means all those people who affect your business or gets affected by your business operation are known as your stakeholder. The term stake is known as your interest. So those people who have any kind of interest in your business, or they get affected by the operation of your business, are known as your stakeholder. So definition here I have written: a corporate stakeholder is a party that can affect or be affected or get affected by the action of the business as a whole. Stakeholder groups vary both in terms of their interest in the business activity and also their power to influence the business decision. See, so as we discussed, stakeholders include all those parties who can affect the business or can get affected by the business. Fine. So they have certain kind of power to influence the business, as well as they have certain level or degree of interest in the business. Fine. So here is the summary. The stakeholder of a company normally comprises of the following people. Who are those? Shareholders, those people who have purchased your share from the share market. Literally they have invested their money through share market. Creditors, those financiers who have given you finance on credit. Then directors and managers, the various position holders. Employees, obviously. Suppliers, the raw material suppliers, as well as the people who carries your product down the line, like wholesalers, retailers, distributors, etc. Customers, community in the place where you are operating, they also gets affected by your business operation, or they may affect your business also, so they are also a part of stakeholder. Then government. So these are some of the examples of key stakeholders of a business. Whenever I say the word stakeholder, all those people who are involved in the business, who have an interest in the business, or at least they get affected by the operations of the business, are known as your stakeholder. If you see this diagram, you will get an overview regarding the concept of stakeholder. It starts with shareholders, then creditors, then directors and managers, employees, suppliers, customers, community and government. Often in your exam it may come as a long question. What do you mean by the theory of stakeholder? Theory of stakeholder means enlisting all those people who affect your business or they get affected by your business. So that is the theory of stakeholder. It is the process of enlisting all of them who are getting affected by your business operation, or at least they can affect your business operation. You are listing them. That is called as your theory of stakeholder. But what is their power and how they influence your business? Then in our next slides we are going to discuss about them. Coming to this theory of stakeholder, we can divide this concept into three columns. The first column is the name of the stakeholders, like we have already discussed. Second one is their interest, why they are interested in your business, what is their main aim of getting involved in the business. And in the third column, it is their power and influence, what is their exact power and how they are going to influence the business scenario, both in short term as well as in long term. This is called as the theory of stakeholder. Coming to the first one, shareholders. See, whenever a company wants to gain money from the market, it often sells its shares through share certificate. People who are investing in share market, they often purchase the share certificate from share market by investing their money. So why I need to invest my money? See, if I see the first stakeholder is shareholder, their interest is profit, growth, share price growth and dividend. Dividends are paid once in a year whenever the financial year is over. Whatever is the profit the company earns, over that profit it provides benefits to the shareholders. That is called as your dividend. Similarly, obviously, why I need to invest in share market? In order to gain profit, growth, share price growth. Suppose I have purchased a share certificate for 100 rupees. So obviously my interest into invest in that particular company where the share price is growing, so that if tomorrow it will be required, I can sell my share to somebody else. That is my basic aim of investing in a share market. So these are the various main interests of the shareholders. So what is their power and influence? Obviously, if you are buying the share certificate of a particular company, you have the right to vote in order to select the directors, board of directors, members in the board of directors, etc. So that is their power and influence over a company. Next, coming to the second stakeholder, known as your creditors. Creditors are all those financial institutions, all those individuals who gives finance, who provide finance, who provides money on interest to the business. So what is their main interest? In the business, they are mainly concerned with the interest on their money and principal to be repaid. Suppose I am paying you 1 crore rupees. So in which particular, why I am going to pay you? I am going to pay you because you have offered me higher rate of interest. Similarly, I am more interested in whatever investment I have done in your business. Similarly, maintain credit rating. Credit rating means your believability in the business. Suppose you must have heard about CIBIL score. CIBIL score is generated based upon your transaction over a period of time. If you have taken loan from some bank, if you have taken loan from some financial institution, how you have paid previously. Based upon that history, your next loan is going to be sanctioned. Normally, nowadays it has been done electronically, which is known as your CIBIL score. Before applying for any kind of loan, the bank normally asks for currently CIBIL score. That is known as your credit rating. How believable, how trustable is your brand, is your company, is your business, so that the financiers will be giving you finance. Then what is their power and influence? Their power can enforce the loan covenants and can withdraw banking facilities. See, whoever provides money in the business is having certain kind of power to influence your decision, because if I am paying you, I am giving you my money on credit, then obviously I need to have a say on your business operation, on your banking facilities, on your loan convergence, etc. Then comes the third stakeholder, directors and managers. So whoever is appointed in the topmost position, top level management of the company, they virtually runs the company. Fine. So the positions of directors, the position of managers are one amongst them. So what is the main interest, or what is the main ideology behind directors and managers? They are more, focused on their salary. Of course, nobody works for free. They are more interested in their salary. Their share option. If you grow up to the corporate ladder, in the certain point of time arises arises when the company gives you the option of having some share of the company so that you will earn in long term. Fine, that is called as your share option. It is not normally not available for all employees, but for the top level management, the company often offers its share options. Then this is regarding job satisfaction, how much satisfied you are with your job, and status, how much status you think you are getting out of the company's operations. So these are the main interests of directors and managers. Similarly, what is their power and influential capacity? They can make decisions. Obviously, if I am working as a director or a manager of a company, I am having the certain level of decision making power, have detailed information regarding the various processes of the company. So these are the power and influence of directors and managers. Next comes the fourth. It is one of the key pillars of any stakeholders, the employees. So, what are the various main interests of employee? Obviously, the first interest of any employee is about salary and wages. Whoever is on daily wage, they are more interested regarding wages. Whoever are on monthly salary, they are interested towards salary. Then comes job security. What do you mean by job security here? Suppose I am working in an office. I don't know whether by tomorrow while coming to my office my job is there or not. I don't know. Job security is not there. Anyone can be fired at any point of time. So obviously if this concept of job security will not be there, I don't know whether tomorrow while coming to work my job is there or not. How can I perform? How can I give my 100% for the company? There is no way I can provide my 100% for the company. That is called as the concept of job security. You as a company need to provide proper job security to all the employees so that they will become happy, they will be working with a good interest, they will be able to provide their 100% effort for the company. That is the essence of job security. Job security is very vital concept in case of your HR practices. Then comes job satisfaction. How satisfied or dissatisfied are the employees with the various parameters or the various environment or the various processes involved in the business. That is called as a job satisfaction. Then motivation. See, it is also an important concept. See, whenever I need to do a particular job for each day, every day, then my interest level gradually grows down. Why? Because the work becomes monotonous in nature. Therefore, it becomes very important for the company, for the top level management to motivate the people towards working in a better manner. Therefore, these three concepts of job security, job satisfaction as well as motivation becomes the main interest of any employees working in an organization. So, what are their power and influence of the employees? Obviously, the staff turnover. Staff turnover means how many employees are leaving the organization, divided by how many employees are working into the organization. Suppose in my organization there are 100 number of people. Fine. Out of that 100 people each year, or suppose I will calculate this employee turnover from March to March. Each year, how many of people are leaving my organization divided by each year, how many of people are getting recruited into the organization. That formula will give me the staff turnover ratio. If the staff turnover ratio becomes very high, means number of people who are leaving my organization will be high, then the number of people coming into the organization, then obviously there is certain problem and that can influence my operation, that can affect my operation over a longer period of time. Therefore, the staff turnover issues is very critical. Then industrial action. What is the industrial relation between the employees and employee, between the employee and the organization, and between the employees of one organization with employees of other organization? That is the power and influence of employees. And the most important one, service quality, because see, directors and managers are not going to face the customer on a daily basis. They can make any amount of rules, regulations, standard operating procedure, policy manual, and say 1,000 words about service quality. But it is the employees who are going to face the customers on a daily basis in order to provide service quality. If you remember, in service quality, there are three steps: pre-service, during service, and post service. The work of these employees are very much important in case of your during service, or which is known as your face to face moment of truth, service encounter. Therefore, employees can affect your business in a major manner because they are the people who are going to face the customer on a daily basis. Therefore, they need to be taken care of very seriously. Then comes suppliers. Suppliers means all those people who help you in running your business, like raw material suppliers, like your distributors, sellers, both. If you remember the value chain in our day before class, value chain is the combination or is the series of activities that shows the processes of raw material collection to production to distribution to marketing and sales and after sales services in association with certain kind of support services. Suppliers belong to that value chain, and what are their interest in? Suppliers' interest are in long-term contracts. Suppose there is a supplier who supplies you with raw material. So what will be their motivational factor, or what will be their interest? Their interest is to gain long-term contracts. I need to associate with you, but I need to be associated with you for a longer period of time. I need to supply you with key materials. I need to supply you with raw materials, but for a longer period of time. There should be certain kind of assurance that yes, if I am getting attached to this company, I need to be gaining over a period of time. Then prompt payment. Whatever I am supplying, I need to get my payment on time. Prompt payment. I gave you the material. Obviously, I am expecting a good prompt payment from your side. Then growth of purchasing. Suppose this year the company has purchased raw material worth 1,000 rupees. So obviously the supplier will be expecting that in the next year, in the following year, the purchasing capacity, the purchasing amount should grow. Therefore, then only I will be earning profit. So what are their interests? As you have written down, we have written down long-term contracts, prompt payment, as well as growth in the purchasing capacity, growth in the purchasing volumes, right? Then what is their price, power and influence? Their power and influence is obviously the pricing. If the supplier increases the price of the raw material, obviously as a business operator you also need to increase your pricing. Then quality of product and services also heavily depend upon the quality of supplies, the quality of raw material. If the quality of raw material is good, then obviously the quality of product or quality of services will be good. If the quality of the supplies are moderate, then quality of the product and services will be moderate. If the quality of the supplies are low, then obviously the quality of product and services will also be low. Then product availability. Of course, this concept of product availability also very much dependent upon the supplies, because suppliers of the key raw materials are very mandatory. If they will stop producing, if they will stop sending, if there will be delay in supplying the key raw material, obviously the availability of various product and services will be delayed. Then obviously it will also affect the brand value of the main product. Therefore, you need to maintain a cordial relationship, you need to maintain a trustworthy relationship, you need to maintain a dependable relationship with a supplier. If you remember, we were discussing about a Toyota way of supplier relationship management, or SRM, which include a unique concept called as your just-in-time. They have developed such a good relationship with their suppliers, key suppliers, that they don't have to store any product or supplies. Whenever and wherever they require the raw material, it will be directly sent and it will be directly received at the shop floor whenever and wherever it is required. That's the power of, that's the whole concept of supplier relationship management. Then comes another most important stakeholder called as your customers. So customers What is their main interest? Reliable quality. If I am buying certain product, if I am availing certain kind of services, then the first thing that gets affected in my mind is it should be reliable in nature. If I am using this mobile phone, if I have purchased this mobile phone, at least for a period of 2 to 3 years, I should be able to use it without any problem. Then value for money. If you remember again, value equal to benefit divided by cost. If I am spending money on certain item, obviously I need to list down what are the various benefits that I am going to get out of it. Value of money. Then product availability. Wherever and whenever the product is available and how I can procure it, whether I need to go to market physically in order to purchase it, or I can give an order over internet and it will reach to me directly. That all are coming under a product availability. And customer service or after sale service. Yes, I have purchased this product or I have availed these services. Then what next? If I am going to face any kind of problem, I need to be heavily dependent upon the company in order to get a good quality customer service. Therefore, reliable quality in case of product and services, value for money aspect, product availability as well as customer service. These are the main interest of any customer. Similarly, what are the power and influence of the customers? The power and influence is the repeat business scenario, revenue generation and word of mouth recommendation. If I am happy, if I am satisfied with the services, if I am satisfied with the product, so obviously I will start recommending the same product and services to everyone else, to my friend, to my reference group, to my colleagues, etc. That is called word of mouth recommendation, but it is possible only if the customer becomes happy, the customer will become satisfied with the service provisions. Similarly, revenue and repeat business, revenue generation, if the customer becomes happy, he will come back again and again, he will become loyal. If the customer will become loyal, he will start to do business with your company frequently. He will start to purchase your product, he will start to avail your services on a regular basis. Then loyal customer, due to this loyalty, repeat purchase behavior arises. Due to this repeat purchase behavior arises, the company gains the sustainable competitive advantage over others in a longer run. Then comes community. Community in a business means the area and the people, the local area and the people where you are operating your business. Suppose I am having a factory in a particular village. So the village and its surroundings, including the people of that village, are the community who are getting majorly affected by my business operations. So what is their interest or main interest of the community, of the local people? Environment, because their environment before I opened my factory there and after I opened my factory there, how is the impact on the local environment? Local jobs, obviously if I have opened a factory in a village, I would have purchased certain amount of land from the local people. So what will happen to the people who have sold their land to me? That is called as a very interesting concept called as the sons of the soil in your HR practices, in the sources of recruitment. From what all sources we can recruit people for our business. One of the factor or one of the source there is written as sons of the soil. Sons of the soil are all those displayed people and their relatives who are affected by my business operation. Suppose a very big company want to establish a big factory in a certain part of any country. So obviously he or it needs to purchase land from that local people. So in return, because the local people has given you their land, obviously you have purchased it, you have not taken it. But what will be their future? What is it affecting on their future? Therefore, they will come back to you certainly for getting various jobs in your factory, and you have to provide certain kind of assurance. You need to provide certain amount of jobs to them as well. That is called as your local jobs. Then local impact. if a company becomes successful, if a company is operating in a certain area, the local community becomes heavily dependent upon it. Whenever they will organize any function, whenever they will be having any kind of social activity, they will try to involve you. That is called as your local impact, because you are operating in their area, because you are into a very successful business, they will be heavily depending upon you, which is known as your local impact. Fine. So what is the power and influence of community? Indirect via local planning and opinion leader. Opinion leader are those community leader who can affect your business in short term and long term. Normally what happens, whenever a company operates, it recruits some of the local people in your workforce. They can heavily influence other workers, they can create unrest, or they can solve the issues of unrest as well. Therefore it becomes very important to recruit the local people, as well as it becomes very important to manage them in a good manner, so that your business operation should not get hampered. Then the last type of stakeholder is the government. Government, their main interest is in tax collection, jobs creation, and legal factor. So what are the various legal factors through which you are getting operated? What are various taxation structure through which your business is getting operated? And how many and what type of jobs are getting created by the operation of the business? So the government is more interested in all these factors. And what is the power and influence level of the government? The government can regulate your business by making or deleting certain kind of rules, regulation, etc. Subsidies. See, what do you mean by subsidy is, whenever you are operating in a business, whenever you are operating your business in a particular place, sometimes the government offers certain degree of subsidies. Subsidies means for a certain period of time you don't have to provide any kind of tax to the government. The government earns its majority of money, majority of earning from various kind of taxation. Therefore, in case of subsidies, you have been getting subsidies, you don't have to pay any kind of tax or less amount of tax to the government. Then planning. So this is their power and influence of the government. Planning means they can make or they can delete certain amount of rules, regulations. They can offer you certain degree of various standard operating procedures or processes in order to do your business. So this will be a very interesting and very important long question. What do you mean by stakeholder, and what is the theory of stakeholder? Theory of stakeholder means enlisting all the stakeholders, all those people who can affect my business or gets affected by my business, and listing their main interest and power and influence. What is their aim? What are their powers, and how they are going to influence or affect my business in both short term as well as in long term. This is about your theory of stakeholders. Then comes the concept of corporate governance. So what do you mean by corporate first, and what do you mean by governance? Corporate governance generally refers to the set of mechanisms that influence the decisions made by manager when there is separation of ownership and control. See, there is a difference between a business and a corporate. Corporate means it's a formal way of doing business. I want to give you a very simple example. Near to my house there is a grocery store, but the business operation of that grocery shop doesn't have to follow all the formal structure, like keeping various employees, keeping them in various levels, assigning them duties, then paying them on a fixed structure like payment of under payment of wages act. Like all the operations should be coordinated through standard operating procedure. That may not be case of a local grocery store, but in case Reliance people, they are opening up their Reliance Smart which is again a shopping mall, and focusing majorly on various types of grocery items only. There I need to get a very formalized structure. There should be a store manager, there should be assistant manager, there should be department, various department, and their operations are dependent upon the various standard operating procedures. Similarly, corporate governance is generally reference to the mechanism that influence the decision made by the managers. Managers operate their businesses through the help of corporate governance. Fine. See, the evolution of public ownership has created a separation between ownership and management. Before 20th centuries, many companies were small, family owned and family run. Fine. So as the amount of business, as the size of the business, as the operational level of the business grew, you need more money to run the business. How you are going to run a business when you don't have the money? You need to look for credit. Credit can be earned through either through banks, you can take loan from banks, or from various personal finance, or you can go directly to the share market. If you remember, I was discussing about this stakeholder, shareholder, the first one. You are generating money from the stock market by selling your share certificate. Those people, whoever is having your share certificate, they have a right to say regarding the company's affairs. Fine, because they have purchased your share, they have invested their money in your company. Therefore, they can at least participate in the election of various directors and board of members in the corporate body. Therefore, that is the whole essence. If I am going to the public in order to earn money, in order to do business in a larger scale, therefore I need to listen to them. And how I am going to listen to them? I am going to listen to them from in the structure of corporate governance. Right? Then, in an attempt to create a corporation where stockholders' interests are looked after, many companies or many firms have implemented a two-tier corporate hierarchy. On the first tier is the board of directors. These individuals are elected by the shareholders of the corporation. On the second tier is the upper management. These individuals are hired by the board of directors. See, whenever a company grows, it doesn't have to invest its all money of its own. Fine. It can go to the market in order to generate money. How it is going to generate money from the market? It can generate the money from the market by going to the share market. Share market, I need to offer my share certificate. In return, people are going to invest in my company by buying my shares and investing in my company. Fine. So, if the people are investing in my company, they have a right to choose the members of the board of directors. Fine. So obviously, as we have discussed it today, all over the world there is a very famous concept of two-tier corporate hierarchy. The first tier is the board of directors. Who selects the board of directors? The people who have invested in your company by purchasing your shares certificate. They can select or elect the board of directors. Then the second tier is the top level management or the upper management, which are being hired by the board of directors in order to smoothly run the affairs. Now, shareholder. A shareholder or a stockholder is an individual or institution. It may be an institution or it may be individual person. Fine. That legally owns one or more shares of stock in a public or private corporation. Be it a government company, be it a private company, the concept of shareholder or stockholder is an institution or as an individual who holds one or more stock or share of a public or private enterprise. Shareholder own the stock but not the corporation itself. You can have the share, number of shares of a particular company, but you don't own that company. That company can operate at their own, but you are one of the investors. Stockholders are granted special privileges depending on the class of stock. If you have more amount of stock, you will be a different class of stockholder or shareholder. If I am having less amount of share of a company, obviously I belong to a certain category of shareholder. These rights may include the right to sell their shares, the right to vote on the directors nominated by the board. I said you the board of directors are normally elected by the shareholders, but all shareholders cannot vote. Some of them can vote depending on their class of stocks. Third one is the right to nominate directors. Although this is very difficult in practice because of minority protection and process shareholder resolution, but the shareholder also have a say while nominating the directors in the board of directors. How many directors will be there and who will be leading it, they can also nominate. The right to dividend, if they are declared. Dividend are normally declared once in a year or depending on the profitable situation, depending on the market. So in case of you are a shareholder, you have a right to get dividend whenever they are declared. And the last one is the right to purchase new shares issued by the company. Whenever the company issues new shares, it doesn't mean that if I have sold my shares this year, I should not be selling my shares in the following year. I maybe want to earn more money. I want to generate more money. The next time I am going to sell the shares of my company, and the first preference is always given to the existing shareholder. So this is the concept of a shareholder. In our next class, we will be discussing about board of directors, management team, social responsibility of a company. Then we will go for guestology concept. Thank you very much.